Well, I finally made it into G rank, and by the looks of things, it's clear here's where the real hunters come to play. Excuse me, fellow hunters. I'm new to these parts. Mind telling me what ferocious monster you had to take down in order to get such a great looking set?
Oh, this silly getup? My friends and I were about to go fight that monster to get some more parts actually. Wanna join us?
I'd be delighted.
Well, here it is.
You have to be kidding me. Anything but him. I can't fight the Ruperticus, guys.
Don't worry, it's not that bad. What can possibly go wrong?
Monster Hunter, the game that I love so much and have probably spent the most hours into. Well, obviously after Final Fantasy XIV, of course, but I doubt that train will ever stop. I still stand by the fact that this game is one of the best co-op experiences out there, since the sense of satisfaction you get from taking down a monster with your friends is something that other games can barely even achieve. And since Monster Hunter Rise is coming sometime soon, and a lot of you guys wanted to see more of this franchise, I decided to make this short video to help anyone who jumped into Generations Ultimate get to G rank quickly so they can enjoy the game's content to its fullest before the release of the next installment.
Just in time.
So what exactly is G rank and what's so special about it? Well, first of all, the quests in Monster Hunter are usually divided into 3 categories that determines how much health a monster has and how much damage they can deal to you, which you can use in a way to judge the overall difficulty of the hunt, with the later ranks also giving monsters some new attacks in the process. What makes G rank so special is that it's what a lot of players consider to be the true challenge of the game, since not only are quests considerably harder with more aggressive enemies, but it's also where you will find some exclusive monsters and brand new looks to old armors with generally better skills attached to them. In order to get into G rank, you must make your way through the low and high rank quests in the online hub mode of the game, which at times is also called the Gathering Hub. And don't worry, you can still do these quests offline by yourself or with some friends locally, so you're not forced to use an online connection to complete them. And while I normally suggest players to take their time and play the game at their own pace so they can get used to the overall combat and the monsters' attacks, once again, I'm making this guide so that these people can get the chance of doing some of the later exclusive quests before the majority of the player base moves on to the next entry of the series. So before you go ahead and do every quest available to you, do know that in this game, you're only required to do certain key quests in order to unlock the urgent one that will increase your hunter rank upon completing it. While sadly there isn't a way for you to know which are the key quests in the game itself, there are numerous of websites out there that will point out which quests you must focus on first, so I suggest you get one on hand whenever you plan on playing. So, after you find a weapon and hunting style that suits your tastes, go ahead and grind a couple of quests against the Tetsukabra, and get a new weapon as well so you can safely complete the low rank key quest as soon as possible. The reason I suggest this armor in particular is because it's easy to make and has some decent defense skills from a monster that is overall easy to take down. We don't want to waste too much time grinding for armors until we reach G rank, since at that point, all you can make besides weapons and charms will kinda be useless if I'm being honest. Once you reach high rank, you might want to do the same strategy again. Hunt these stronger Tetsukabras to get an armor set with higher defense, and while you're at it, make some upgrades to your weapon of choice, and then charge your way through until you reach the final urgent missions before G rank. Fortunately for you, the final quests before G rank are considerably easier here when compared to those from 4 Ultimate in my opinion, since you don't have to fight as many Elder Dragons, let alone the Dalamador. So it should be possible to complete the rest of the high rank quests with the Tetsukabra's armor if you know how to approach the monsters in combat. Now, here is where things start getting interesting, because after completing all the high rank urgent quests, the game will throw one more tough challenge at you before you can get into G rank. A battle against a rather strong monster, something you have never faced before on this journey, and will surely send chills down your spine. That being the menacing Barroth. Yeah, it's just an easy fight against the Barroth. Again, compared to 4 Ultimate making you fight in Canlos, this is a total cakewalk. And once completing this, you will unlock a new area called the Hunter's Pub, where you can register for G rank quests. But as you may notice, G-rank monsters can pack quite a punch, and your armor is no longer going to protect you as much as it used to, so at this point, you might as well do one of two choices. Either you try to go through the rather easy G-rank 1 quest so you can farm good old Tetsukabra again for his set, or you can go back to high rank and get something like the Astalos or Mitsutsune armors, since they are easy to make and grant some extra defense, until you feel comfortable against these stronger monsters. Alternatively, if you find the later half of high rank a difficult challenge to overcome, you might as well go on ahead and get one of these armors to help you on your way. And like I said, here is where the real game kinda starts. Since it's late game, almost any armor you make from now on could serve you for any future hunts. So go crazy and make as many sets as you like and get your weapons into their final form so you can tap into their true potential. But since we're here, may I make a suggestion for any fellow Sword and Shield players who might be watching this video? And that is to go ahead and get yourself the full Nerscylla armor set. Now, normally at this stage, you will want to go ahead and mix and match armors to create what is called a mixed armor set to get as many abilities as possible. But fortunately, this one monster gives you some excellent skills for a certain approach to battle that can be rather deadly, known as sleep bombing. This technique is as simple as it sounds. You wait for the monster to go to sleep, place a couple of large barrel bombs next to its weak spot, and then blow them up for massive damage. And trust me, when I say massive, I do mean like insane damage. This works because when a monster is asleep, any attack that would wake it up will deal double damage, so you would normally save your strongest attacks for this situation. However, if you put a couple of large barrel bombs together, they will all detonate at once and count as one massive hit against the monster. And since these items by themselves already pack quite the punch, imagine the results of detonating a total of 8 bombs at once with a full party, that all deal double damage. So going back to the armor set, why focus on the Nerscylla specifically? Well, it's because the skills this set gives you just so happen to be ideal for sleep bombing and capturing monsters. First, you get the great ability Status Attack Up, which will increase the potency of your weapon's abnormal status element, those being Poison, Paralysis, Blast, and you guessed it, Sleep. So this skill, with a weapon that has a good abnormal damage of this element, will make the monsters fall asleep rather quickly. On top of this, you get Explosive Trapper, which is a combination of 2 separate skills. The first one is Trap Master, which not only will let you place bombs and traps much faster than normal, but also guarantees that your combination of trap items will always be successful. While the second skill, Bombardier, increases the damage of your bombs as well as the success rate for their item combination. And for an extra kick, you also get Constitution +2, that greatly slows down your stamina depletion when evading or blocking a monster's attack, which allows you to play it a bit defensively when needed. Now, for this set, I highly recommend you also get the Nerscylla Sword and Shield, which you can start making at high rank, since it's what I consider to be one of the best sleeping weapons in the game because of the great damage and insane white sharpness it has. But if you want some extra slot to gem in an additional ability, you can also go for the Malfestio's Sword and Shield. Trust me when I say that since getting this set, I rarely try anything else from just how versatile it is. And while it can also be useful for other weapons like Dual Blades and the Charge Blade, Sword and Shield has the benefit of accessing oils in this game, which grants you with some additional skills that really kinda make it a bit overpowered. And these are rather strong abilities. Affinity Oil increases your critical hit ratio, Stamina tires out the monsters faster, Destroyer lets you break parts easier, and Mind's Eye prevents your attacks from bouncing off the monster. So yeah, plenty of uses for different situations. Although, for this set, what I mostly recommend are the Affinity and Stamina Oil, since you're going to have good sharpness overall, and the amount of attacks you can do with a Sword and Shield combo will cause parts to ultimately break at some point, doubly so if you're using bombs, so I'd rather bring other items in my inventory instead. I have been using this set for months now, and I alone have easily put almost every monster to sleep at least twice per hunt with my friends. So, if you happen to find someone else using this set in your party, I recommend that one player goes with a paralysis weapon instead, to make it easier to stop monsters without having to use traps. From which, I suggest you get the Gendrome Sword and Shield that you can get from upgrading the Velocidrome weapons. And while you're at it, make a habit of buying plenty of supplies to craft bombs mid-hunt, especially Barrel Bomb's L+, that you can get by combining Scatterfish with a large Barrel Bomb, since you can easily farm for these items with the help of your Palico traders. Just keep in mind that small barrel bombs aren't meant for dealing damage, and instead are there to help detonate the larger ones from a safe distance. But honestly, I'd rather just save the inventory space and explode the bombs myself if there's no great sword or gunner user on my team. Also, don't forget to download the free DLC items the game offers you from the start to get plenty of supplies that will make it so you might never have to go on a gathering hunt again. You can access the DLC menu at any time via the main menu or by talking to the attendant in your room. With this, you should be more than ready to face any challenge the game might throw at you. But if you happen not to be particularly fond of your armor's look, then I have some good news for you. After completing the single-player village quests and the multiplayer hub quests, you will get the ability to unlock something called Transmog by talking to this Palico in the Soriatorium's lab. And with this, you can exchange the coins you get from almost any G-Rank quest with this NPC in the Hunter's Pub, and be able to combine the look of any armor you have crafted with the stats of your G-Rank set. And did I mention there is a Metroid DLC quest in this game that gives you Samus's Varia suit and her Zero suit so you can just potentially play the rest of the game as Samus herself? Pretty cool, I know. If you want more information on the references this game makes to the Metroid franchise, make sure to check out my older video on the matter. And if you decide to transmog the set, do make sure to get the Chakra waist armor. Since it doesn't have any visual model, you will be able to complete your armor's look since the Metroid gear is missing a waist piece of its own. And now with these tools in your hands, you will have a generally easy and fun time hunting anything else you want with your friends, as we await the release of the next game in the series, which will hopefully have some exciting new monsters to defeat like the ones this game introduced. The beauty of the Nerscylla set, in my opinion, is that while it sounds a bit ridiculous, it won't entirely break the game, but it will instead give your team a definitive advantage when fighting stronger monsters. And since, fortunately, Generations Ultimate's road to G-Rank isn't as painful as the one in 4 Ultimate, you will have enough time to reach the end game and try out all the awesome bonus content that this series is well known for having. Also, since Capcom didn't bother making any more crossovers for Iceborne, I went ahead and did some extra modifications myself, and oh, would you look at that, I can play as E2 in this game now! And oh, what's this? I can be Lucina as well? Isn't that convenient? But seriously, Capcom, consider bringing the Nier Automata, Kamen Rider, and Fire Emblem Awakening crossovers you made in the past into your future games, please?